Hello, Laverne here, and thank you for joining me. This video is a second part to a two-part video response to a fellow by the name of Jupy921. And his video was a response video to one that I made. Now in his video, he asked me to give examples of prophecies, because I claimed in mind that there have been hundreds of fulfilled prophecies, and that these prophecies are evidence of God's existence. So that's what this video is about. Now, Jesus himself, scholars will tell us, he has fulfilled over 200 prophecies. But I know that might be a bit much for some people to believe. So I'm just going to give an example of a few things, such as that he would be born in Bethlehem, born of the tribe of Judah, that he would be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver, that he'd be betrayed for the price of a potter's field, that his garments would be gambled for, that he would come from the line of King David, that he'd be the seed of Abraham, that he'd ride into Jerusalem on a donkey. So many more very common prophecies like this. Now, I ask or suggest that if anybody wants to know more about these prophecies, simply Google prophecies fulfilled by Christ or fulfilled by Jesus, and you'll see a good number more of the kinds of things, the kinds of prophecies that Jesus fulfilled. And then we go back further into the Bible and we look at things such as the prophets that prophesied that Israel would go to war and would be defeated by the nation of Babylon, and that they would be taken into exile. And that's exactly what happened. We know this. This is historical fact that this happened. So there are many prophecies that have been fulfilled, but I know people like Jupy are going to argue that we cannot verify that there even was such a prophet that prophesied about Israel going into exile, that perhaps that was written after the fact, and that we can't prove that Jesus actually existed. So working with that, I'm going to now talk about prophecies that are happening and coming into play in place today, right in the very age that we are living. Now, I'm going to talk just a little bit about the writings of Enoch, because Enoch gives us a very specific timeline. He tells us that from the birth of Adam, from the time that Adam was created, every 1,000 years represents one day. So when we get to the point of 1,001 years, that is entering day 2. When we hit 2,001 years, we are then entering into day 3, and so on. And Enoch tells us that the 7th day is going to be a period of peace, 1,000 years of peace. That's a day of rest. Just as God rested on the 7th day when he created the world, the universe. So we are very near to entering that point today. When we look from the birth of Adam to the birth of the nation of Israel, it was 2,000 years. Then from the birth of the nation of Israel to the birth of the church was another 2,000 years. And it's been another 2,000 years since the birth of that church, since the birth of the bride of Christ, the church. We are just a couple decades shy of entering into the 7th day. But Enoch tells us that just prior to that, there is going to be a great time of testing. The New Testament describes it as being the time of tribulation. And we are very near to that point today. So we are right at that timeline. Now, Jesus tells us that before his second coming, there's going to be this period of great tribulation. And he tells us that there are going to be some very specific signs that we are going to be able to see. He tells us that there's going to be an increase in wars and the rumors of wars, that there's going to be an increase in natural disasters, things such as earthquakes and volcanic activity. And we see that happening today. Because of global warming, ice caps melting and glaciers melting, we see that the weight of the ice that is on the crust of the earth is disappearing, and therefore the tectonic plates are lifting, causing an increase not only in the number of earthquakes and volcanic activity, but an increase in the severity. We are seeing an increase in tsunamis and tidal waves and all kinds of things that are coming off from the ocean because of all the activity on the ocean floor. We are seeing an increase in tornadoes and hurricanes. All of these things are happening just as Christ described that they would happen at the time of testing, just before we enter into the 7th day. So these prophecies are coming to pass. And we see other things, such as the condition of the state of Israel that is talked about, and the state of the church that is also prophesied about. I explain about the state of Israel in my videos dealing with the prophecies in Isaiah. And I explained that not only would there be a nation of Israel, and that 100 years ago, very few people would have even considered the fact that there would be a nation of Israel, yet today we have it. So that prophecy has come to pass. We see that the things talked about in the prophecies, such as the government of Israel being corrupt, that is happening today. That it is considered one of the most corrupt nations of the industrialized nations. We see things such as prophesied about that there would be women leaders and young men being leaders. That's happening today. That the nation of Israel will turn its back on God, and today approximately 40% of its population is considered atheists. So all of these prophecies are coming to pass. We see the state of the church that the witnesses talked about in Revelation tells us that they will be wearing sackcloth, and this goes to the condition of the church, that they are going to be in deep sorrow because of the condition of the church. Speaking of these two, we are told that these two prophets, these witnesses, would be killed in the streets of Jerusalem, and that they would lie there for 3 days while the city of Jerusalem celebrated and danced with joy over their death. We are also told that the whole world would view this and watch this for 3 days. And that is only possible recently because of the technology that we have today. At the time that this was prophesied about, there was no way that they could possibly have known that the whole world could actually view such an event. And yet that is possible today. The condition of the world. We are told that there would be an army of 200 million people. And that today has come to pass because China has an army where they have the conscript, the draft process, and they have forced military training. Now, even though they do not have a standing army of 200 million people, they have a trained army of that many. So we see that prophecy has come to pass today. All of these happening, and they're all happening at the period just before entering the seventh day, as prophesied about by Enoch. I talk about in the series dealing with hidden Bible prophecy that the beast would be born when the world's population reached 6,660,000,000, according to hidden Bible prophecies that are connected to the number of the beast 666. So that means that he was born approximately February 2007, because that's when we reached that population. Now, one of the things that has not yet come to pass is the building of the new temple in Jerusalem. That has yet to be done. And while I haven't made a video about it, I will tell you today that that is going to happen. It will be finished in the year 2020. And then it will not be long after that the son of Satan, the beast, is going to be seated in the temple, desecrating the holy object. So these are some of the prophecies that have come to pass. These are the conditions that we are living in today. We are just a couple decades short of entering into that seventh day, but so many things have got to happen before that. There's going to be the period of tribulation where Satan is in control and running the world, and then followed by that is going to be the second coming. So the question is, are people prepared? And do you believe? I really hope people will look at this evidence of prophecy and consider that it is evidence of God. Till next time, peace and blessings.